Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I will be making a small update about what we know so far about the 2021 Mahindra Roxor and the release date. And towards the end of the video, we shall see how I went about to do the alignment on my Mahindra Roxor. So first things first, what we know so far. Well, it looks like the 2021 Mahindra Roxor, the all new redesigned Roxor, will be released soon. But how soon do dealers get actual copies in their dealerships? That is unknown. We do know that Mahindra Automotive North America took off the online configurator for the Mahindra Roxor. At first it was suspended and then they completely took it offline, and that is pending production of the 2021. The way it's worded, it sounds like production of the Roxor has actually halted, so the 2021s are not being produced yet. I would imagine they have a few copies, which would be demonstrators, and to test the public and get some feedback. But actual production of the 2021 Mahindra Roxor doesn't seem to have started yet. Another thing about the Mahindra Roxor, the new design coming up, is there have been some major changes concerning Mahindra. That is the Mahindra Group in general. So they own a company in South Korea called Sangyong Motors, and they are trying to divest themselves of that investment. They're shifting their focus more to electric vehicles, and from what I understand, they're looking for a strategic partner. A lot of this would probably have to do with the COVID-19 pandemic, which is causing a lot of upheavals in economies around the world. We know, for example, that sales compared to last year for the Mahindra Group, especially for vehicles, has dropped drastically, as well as profits. Last year, during an earnings call, Mahindra had said the Mahindra Automotive North America would have its future re-evaluated if in fact they couldn't find a clear path to make Mahindra Automotive North America profitable. This year, with the lawsuit with Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, they are also sitting on the fence pending the final outcome of that litigation. We also know for a fact that Mahindra has withdrawn its bid for the new USPS delivery vehicles. So far, I believe they said if they had pursued that route, they would have been investing about $500 million without any assurance that they would win the bid. So for the moment, they are withdrawing their bid to be the next supplier of vehicles for the USPS. One more tidbit is we know the service manager for the Roxor brand in North America, his position has been suspended for now, so the technical term, I guess, is followed. We don't know when that position might be reinstated, but that's also probably part of the softening demand of the Roxor vehicles, and also the litigation against FCA. Over the past couple of months, the service manager for the Roxor was actually like the visible face of what's going on behind the scenes with the Roxor. There's been a lot of concern after the news broke out on the internet, but right now it's very early to read between the lines. We really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so it's just to stay tuned and see what happens. And one other piece of news, the 2021 all new Mahindra Thar, on which the initial Roxor was based, will be released on August 15th, which is sometime next week. It's highly anticipated. We don't know yet if it's gonna be a virtual on a release, or they would actually have the media present. So what we are looking at right now is are the new components I have for my steering mechanism. This comes in the box with the lift kit. So what we're looking at is the tie rod ends on both the driver and passenger side. You have the tie rod there that ties in both knuckles, and further behind you would have the drag link, and then the pitman arm that comes from the steering box. So the kit comes with the tie rod and also a new drag link, all of them attached to terminating in with heim joints. So what I'm gonna do here is take the Roxor over to my buddy's garage. He has more tools and a little bit more room, so it's easier to get to the tools and back. Someone had commented earlier that it's quite easy to do the alignment on these vehicles. I just was not sure. I had never done one before, but I can say after I completed the process, I can confirm that it's actually just a very intuitive process, self-explanatory, but you still have to pay attention to make sure you have everything torqued down correctly once you are done with the process. And it also helps to, if you have someone around to help when you're doing the gauging, that way you can have the person hold one end of a tape and you measure your toe in. So we're just gonna pull here to the front of the garage, and you can see the headlights there. That's when I'm driving normally. It's like the day running lights. And then you have the high beam and the low beam. High beam.
Hey, sit.
We'll jump outside and see what all we need for this project.
Come on, Roy.
Yeah, that's how high the Roxor is. He looks at the distance and he's like, I can't make it. So let's see if we can encourage him.
Here.
Bring him a bit lower. There you go. Still a no-go. All right. So this is what the Roxor looks like. I try to be dead center in front. You can see there's quite a bit of toe in. And try to turn off the engine, center the wheel and turn off the engine. you have those two locking nuts. We'll just turn them clockwise. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So once you get them loose, then you can actually just use your hand and spin the tie rod either clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on where you're standing. Let's say you're standing on the driver's side. Clockwise will increase the toe in, and counterclockwise will reduce the toe in. So you want your tires, the alignment to be just about perfect. That is looking straight ahead. And then from there you proceed to add just a touch of toe in, maybe a quarter inch to maybe half an inch, and then you should be right on the money. So I loosened those two knots, and it was easy to do the alignment and turn the tie rod with my hand. Just come back to straighten out the steering wheel again. Take another look. And even if you try to just line it up with the rear tire, you can see it's actually turned. The front tire is turned a little bit more to the left. So I did the adjustments a few times, took the vehicle for a ride, came back, did that a second time, went for another spin, each time doing minor adjustments. And the initial symptoms I had was I had too much toe in. I would go driving and the vehicle was all over the place. It was very, very squirrely. So time to bring out the tape. And that's where it would be nice to have a helper hold the tape on the other side. But in the end, I was able to use a piece of board to hold up the tape, and it came up to about, I believe, 70 inches up front. Yeah, about 70. And that's the rear. It's about 71. So as you can tell, I have about an inch of toe in. It's a little bit too much. Ideally, you're looking at about a quarter of an inch to half an inch. But even with an inch of toe in, it still drives pretty good. Tracks straight when I'm on the dirt roads. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now and drive as much as I can. Maybe in about a month I'll check everything again, make sure nothing has moved, but I can confirm it drives straight even without my hands on the wheel. So I'm happy with where I am at right now. Like I said, I did adjustments, then went for a drive, came back, went for a drive, and that was just to get a feel of how the vehicle was responding to the changes I was making. And with each spin, I would take a few pictures. So these are just some of the pictures. As you can see, it went a bit later during the day. Yeah, it's already getting dark. I still have the nuts loose. So as with anything you do on your Roxor, once you're done, go back, verify every single bolt nut that you touched. Make sure it's secure. Got it tight. And I use the wrench to snug up everything.
Hey. What's that? Hey.
Oops,
Hey.
he got the sandpaper.
What's that? Let me see.
Yeah,
Let go.
got that away from him. So here is my old tie rod and drag link with the new changes occurring with the Roxor. I'm not sure. I was about to get rid of this, so I just figured out I should hang on to them for a little bit longer. You can see this was initially destined for the Indian market. I believe for most of the Indian subcontinent, they don't use too much salt on the roads. So those components did not receive any special kind of anti-corrosion treatment. But I'm sure when they get here, if you could do maybe a drop of oil or grease or WD-40, that would displace the water and keep the components shiny and looking new. But everything is still functional, just that little bit of surface rust that I have on there. And I just decided I will hang on to this for a little bit longer, see exactly what's going on with the market. And this is what everything looks like once I was totally done. And just to be sure, I went to the instructions that came with my spring over axle lift kit just to verify, make sure I got everything right, especially turning the tie rod. And if you look carefully, you would see that the pitch of the threads on the end of the tie rod point down and in, down and in. So turning the tie rod from the driver's perspective clockwise would increase the toe in, and turning it counterclockwise will reduce the toe in. And yeah, that's what I just had to share with you guys for today. And we're all anxiously waiting to see what happens when Monday comes around. Hopefully we get to see the new Roxor sooner than later. I want to thank you all for watching this video and see you guys on the next one.